Alrighty, good morning everyone and namaste. Today we're going to be doing a little practice, and this practice is for someone that I love so much. Hi Melanie. So I hope that it's okay that I kind of took a little extra time to send you the information that you were looking for. I thought it was a beautiful opportunity for me to connect with you and to potentially connect with other people who may be wanting like a more beginner, gentle based routine. We won't go into exact detail of everything that we will be going through, but I just kind of want to hit some major points. This practice is going to be kind of intended for people who, like me specifically, I'm still being very tender and careful with my wrist, okay? So we're not going to be doing too many things that's going to be applying a lot of pressure. We are going to be using different modifications in order to support people that may not have as much flexibility as someone like me who has been practicing yoga for a length of time. And we're just going to keep it simple and gentle. I think that whenever we haven't been in movement for a long time, that it's very normal for some of the population to kind of want to just dive right in and hit it. And for others, that's not always the best way. So before we get started, I really want to just set an intention. I would like for everybody to set an intention of what this means for them, of why they are coming to their mat today, of some of the goals that they might be wanting to achieve here. And yeah. So with that being said, as a teacher of vulnerability and authenticity, I'm saying that I am coming here today to find a flow that will gently move me towards the direction that my heart wants to go, that my heart, my mind, body, heart, spirit connection all just kind of knows what's right for me. And so I'm not going to force myself into something, and I'm not going to do it with rush and with feelings of anxiety and pressure. My intention is to restart something, or to start something new with gentleness and kindness and patience for myself. And so if you would like to go ahead and set your intention, please go ahead and pause the video, or just take a few minutes to do that. We are going to be using some props today. And the first prop that we're going to use, if you don't have a yoga strap, we're going to be working with just a nice little towel or a blanket. Okay. Go ahead and fold this a couple of times, or just feel free to go ahead and just roll it directly. But we all want to have like a nice little towel. We also want to have a chair. Now, we'll kind of see what happens with the modifications with the chair, because I want to be sure that I have enough space for everybody to see what's going on, okay? But know that these are the two things that we are going to be using. The other thing I highly suggest people have to get is some form of like pillow. This really isn't that thick. It's about the thickness of a little bit thicker than my forearm. It might be like 4 inches high. So, or in what is this called? In thickness. This is going to be for people that are having a little bit of issue with their lower back. If you do not have a very strong inner core, we're not talking about the external abdomens that people on Baywatch have, right? We're talking about the deep, deep, deep core muscles. Sometimes sitting up straight can be a little challenging. So what I suggest is, if that is weak, the other parts of the body are going to try to overcompensate. So you may begin to kind of hunch over, even just slightly, rolling the shoulders over. We want to make sure that we are engaging through the core and sitting up nice and tall. Okay. Now, that I haven't started my practice yet. I didn't warm up or anything, and I can feel even for myself that this can feel a little uncomfortable. So I'm gonna go ahead and take my pillow and I'm just gonna put it right under my bum. So what that is going to do is, rather than my legs being up here at a perfect 90-degree angle, right, where my core is a little bit more close together, this is going to open it up. Dropping the legs down, it's going to create it maybe like 100-degree angle, and that is going to be a little bit more gentle on that inner core, on the back, and all the way up the spine. If you don't have like one of these pillows, like a little outdoor cushion is gonna be great as well. So let's go ahead. Before we start any practice, like I said, we're gonna go ahead and kind of create some intention, because I think that that is something that yoga really can help with, is just adding that little bit of depth into our intentional movement. Let's go ahead and start our breathing. We're gonna go ahead and allow the breath to just flow in and out of the body very evenly, very smoothly. If for those of you that work with imagery, we're going to see our breath like waves on an ocean, just rolling in and out of the shore. And you know that there is no pause, there is no stop, there is no break. It just flows in and out in one movement. Remembering the dimensions of our organism, of our body. Filling the belly here, the sides of the rib cage, the back, the upper chest. Exhaling it all out. Inhaling and exhaling. We want to inhale through the nose. If we can, exhaling through the nose. If we want to kind of get the body to calm down a little bit faster, we can inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Okay. We're going to drop the chin down towards the chest here. Okay, so we're going to inhale, exhaling down towards the chin to the chest. We're going to hold here, making sure that from the seat of us, that the core is still engaged. Continuing to roll with the breath. We're going to inhale, we're going to roll up to one side here. Ear reaching over to the shoulder. We're going to exhale down. Inhaling as we roll up to the opposite side. Exhaling down. Inhaling up. Exhaling down. Inhaling back up. We're going to exhale down. And then as we inhale up, we're going to go through a full range of motion. So we're going to go ahead, open up the neck, taking the gaze up towards the ceiling. Exhaling as we roll down. Again, inhaling up. Coming on down with the exhale. One last time. Exhaling down. And then we're going to go ahead and take this through the opposite direction. So we're going to inhale up through the opposite direction. Exhaling down. Inhaling. Exhaling. And one last time here. We're going to inhale the neck back up into neutral. So now that we kind of got the neck and shoulders kind of warmed up, we're going to go ahead and grab our towel here, our rolled towel. We're going to place it behind the back. For those of us that have an increased flexibility in the pecs and the shoulders and the upper back, you don't necessarily need a towel, all right? But for those of us that have a little more tension held here, whether it be from stress, whether it just be like muscular tension, or, you know, repetitive injury, stress. You know what I'm talking about, right? No. All right. I love to laugh. I hope that's okay. I think that that's what helps me breathe the most, is whenever I'm able to laugh. And for those of you who are watching, since we're at home with our families, if you do the laughing meditation, it is so much fun, and I think that it is a really beautiful way to bond with people and just to get some of that positive energy in the body. So what we're doing right now, let me go ahead and get started. We have the towel behind the back, okay? And what we're going to do is, to our capacity, we're going to roll the shoulders up, back, and down, and then we're going to see where we can hold the towel, okay? So we want to make sure, again, that our spine is nice and tall, our shoulders are back and down. We're lifting up our heart to the sky. We're going to go ahead and take those really wonderful breaths. Any emotions or feelings that may come up as we open up our heart, just kind of let them flow. Breathe with them. If they speak to you, if they have words of guidance, listen to them with love and let them go. Inhaling, exhaling, and just like waves on an ocean, allowing that breath to flow in and out. Relaxing the legs. The legs don't have to be gripping up here, okay? And the legs don't necessarily have to be in crisscross applesauce. We can definitely extend through the legs. However, I find that that is going to be a little bit more of an active position. So you really are going to have to engage through the core in order to keep this pose pretty safe. But I want to keep a nice gentle practice. That is what I encouraged myself to do today. So I'm just going to go ahead and keep that crisscross applesauce. You can gently close your eyes. Again, for those of us that may be collapsing that chest down a little bit, lifting that chest up, rolling those shoulders back and down. We're just going to be here for 3, 2, and 1. So we're going to kind of roll the shoulders back into neutral. Okay, so, bringing the chest back into neutral, not lifting it up so high. We can let go of the towel here. And then what we're going to do is we are going to go ahead, inhale the arms out to the side, and we're going to cross them across the body. Remembering which hand we take over top here. Okay, we're going to give ourselves a nice gentle hug. Encouraging to love ourselves. Some of us don't have people in our homes right now to give us the touch that will help with our stress. So just hugging. We can do a little squeeze if we'd like. Remembering to breathe into the hug. Pulling those shoulder blades away from the spine here. Okay. We're going to go ahead, take the arms back out to the side. We're going to take the other one on top. Again, hugging the body, pulling the shoulder blades away from the spine. Taking some deep breaths here. Maybe telling yourself that you love yourself, that you're proud of yourself. Your body needs to hear that, okay? It really does. It wants to hear that it's loved by you. Thanking it for all the things that it does do for you. Breathing, blinking, salivating, digesting all of the food, separating it. We're coming back out this way. So we're going to do a little bit more of an advanced pose here. Please listen to your body. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing. We're going to cross the arms, making sure that we remember which one is which. As our elbows come here to make an X, we are going to come and bring the hands like back to back. The back of the hand to the back of the hand. Okay, we want to lift the elbows up here, and you're gonna feel that stretch in between the shoulder blades. And then we're going to try to push the elbows forward. Breathing here. Now, if the hands don't come back to back, that's okay. We're really discovering our body through yoga. So if we can just get the arms crossed wherever they can, even if we just get the wrists crossed here, sending it forward. Making sure that the elbows are up though. We don't want them to be dropped down. Lifting the shoulders up, pushing them forward, the elbows forward. Not through the forearms, just the elbows. Breathing here. 3, 2, and 1. We're going to bring these elbows back in towards the body. We're going to drop the hands down. We're going to take them back out to the side, okay? Now the opposite hand is going to go over top, like this. We can either cross the elbows or just cross the wrists, bringing them up, bringing the hands up, lifting those elbows up, and sending the elbows forward. Some of us may be feeling some stretching. Some of us may be feeling a little bit of activeness, so a little heat coming here, which is wonderful. Inhaling and exhaling here. Keeping those elbows up. 3, 2, and 1. Bringing those elbows back in towards the body. Uncrossing the hands, we can take them out towards the side. We're going to take a nice deep inhale. We're going to exhale. The arms down beside us. We're going to work with some shoulder rolls. We're going to start with them going back. Inhaling the shoulders up, exhaling them back and down. Again, inhaling the shoulders up, exhaling back and down. Inhaling up, back and down. We're going to go the opposite way. Up and forward. Up and forward. Up and forward. Let's just kind of wiggle it out. Bring some fun and laughter. Yes, Zen is good, you know, but there's nothing wrong with a little fun as well, okay? At least for me. So let's go ahead and start working with the lower part of the body, all right? We are going to go ahead and get into a nice comfortable seated position. Now I want us to go ahead and take this pillow out from underneath of the bum. Now, staff pose, for those of us who have a little bit of a more vulnerable core, okay, this can be a challenge. If for any reason you need to break your practice, of course, go ahead and do so. Breaking your practice means coming out of the pose. Just make sure that you are doing it with gentleness and ease. Alexa, turn down the volume. This song is extremely exciting. So let's go ahead and extend out through the legs here, all right? We want to be sitting up. We don't want to be kind of leaning back and opening up wide from this place. So you may feel yourself needing to bring the chest a little bit more towards the toes, okay? Now, we don't want to be hunching through the back anywhere, all right? We are practicing staff pose, just sitting up straight. I do have my socks on, which most yoga people would be like, you don't have to wear your socks on your mat, but I'm sitting out on the porch and it's a little chilly, so I'm just like honoring my body. But I think it's fun. So let's go ahead and get into this nice little staff pose here, sitting right on the sit bones. I highly suggest go ahead and lifting the glute tissue off of the bone, so that way you can feel more directly where your sit bones are. So we're going to go ahead and sit here. We're going to start breathing deeply down into the belly. So of course, the shoulders should be rolled back and down. The core should be active. So we should feel ourselves not feeling the weight of gravity pushing us down. We're going to use our muscles to push back against gravity. So to create some resistance against gravity and to lift ourselves up. That's the muscles' jobs. That's how they have strength, right? So we're going to go ahead and sit here. I can feel my quads are active because they are also involved with this motion here, flexing at the hip joint. I can feel it deep into my core. I can feel it in my lower back a little bit here, into the glutes. Please continue to just breathe here. We're going to be here for 3, 2, and 1. So if we would like, we can kind of break this erectness, and we can take our hands back behind us so we can have a little bit of leaning. We're gonna pitter the knees a little bit here. Okay, and then let's go ahead and come back into staff pose. So again, having nice active legs, bringing the chest up towards the body here, having a nice tall seat. Inhaling, exhaling. We don't want to have super relaxed legs where our toes are turning out. We want them to be up, waiting up at noon, at 12 o'clock. 2 and 1. Let's go ahead and relax back a little bit, pitter the legs. Okay. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to come into a standing posture. So however that works for you. Coming up into the standing position. So I have this chair here. And I can see that it's a little bit more difficult to see me. So I'm going to go ahead and try to move this back as far as it will go. And hopefully that'll create a little bit of space. Awesome. So for those of us that are need a little assistance with our balance, just grab a chair, okay? For those of us that would like to play a little bit more with our balance or who have a very strong balance, we don't need the chair necessarily, okay? So what we are going to do is we are going to go ahead. I suggest lifting the feet up off of the floor and putting them back down. So for me to connect a little bit more deeply, I will now go ahead and take my socks off. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and start bending through the knees, coming up onto the toes here. All right. So now that we've gotten some movement, I would like for us to go ahead and plant our feet firmly into the ground, approximately hip width apart. So if you go ahead and put your fist right in between your knees, that is approximately hip width apart. Let's go ahead and use our eyes a little bit here. Let's check to see if any of our toes or our feet are turning at any direction. Sometimes if we have something going on at the hip joint, the toes can not be pointing straight ahead. They might be turned towards like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. Let's go ahead and bring those back into noon. So we're going to connect with our feet here. We're really going to feel the tripod of the foot. So there are 2 points, both at the joints on both the big toe and the pinky toe side. Thinking not about the toes, thinking about the actual foot here. Feeling that heel. And then what we're going to realize is that we want that balance, we want the weight to be equal across all of those 3 points. So not too far on the heels, not too far on the toes, right at the center. We want our knees to be soft. We don't want them to be locked back, okay? Gentle, have some gentleness with the knee. So from here, we're going to gently begin to sway from foot to foot. Feeling the weight go from one foot to the other. Okay, so from the front it will look like this. Gently beginning here. This is warming up the leg, this is warming up the knee, the foot. And then once we begin to sway to one side, we're going to begin to lift the opposite foot up as high as it can go. So lifting up that foot, we're going to hold here. 5, keeping the standing foot nice and strong with a gentle knee. 3, nice active core. 2, breathing here. And 1, we're going to send that foot back down. We are going to go ahead and send that same foot back. Again, that gentle knee. We don't want our toes to be rotating out, okay? We don't want the hip to rotate. We want to keep everything here as strong as we can. We don't have to necessarily keep the knee locked. For the leg that is moving backward, we can have a softer knee if that feels comfortable for us. But we're going to feel our glutes and our hamstrings working here. Breathing. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're going to bring this leg back down. We're going to go ahead and pinner the knees. Go ahead and start bending through the knees here. Breathing. And then we're going to go ahead and work with the opposite side here. So again, making sure our toes are forward, feet are hip width apart. Gently swaying back and forth here, feeling, we're just connecting more deeply with the body with the sway. Back and forth. Then once we get to this space, we're going to go and send all that weight to the opposite leg and bringing the leg up. Again, having gentle knees here, holding, breathing, core is active. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's bring that leg down. Let's go ahead and send it back. Again, trying not to twist the body or open up at the hip, just sending that foot back here. 5, strong core. 3, 2, and 1. Bringing that foot back here. Pairing the knees. Now going back to the original foot, which for mine was my right, we're going to stretch out the quad, okay? So we are going to go ahead, grab onto the knee if we can, grab onto the foot if we can here. Now, if for some reason we can't grab onto the foot, this is where a nice yoga strap would be nice. You can also grab your towel, hook it behind us here, and then just put our foot right into it, bringing this towel up, okay, into a nice comfortable position, holding it here. Now, what we don't, in order to stretch the quad, the front of the thigh, we want to be able to send that knee back. We want to be able to open it up here. So whether that means kind of coming into this space of bending forward a little bit, making sure that my left knee is soft, that's fine. Some of us may not need all of that, but we're to the point of gently beginning to feel the stretch. We don't want to overtax the body or to overstretch the fascia or the muscle. 2, and 1. We can go ahead and drop this down. Okay, we're going to work with the other foot, putting it into our towel, into our yoga strap, or just grabbing it with the hand, bringing it up towards the body here. Feeling the strong trunk of our legs as it roots down through the foot into the ground, having that soft knee. Being beside a chair or a wall if we feel like we're still working with our sense of gravity or sense of balance. Remembering to remove all that self-judgment, right? We don't want to hear things like, well, whenever I was younger, I could have done this, or before quarantine, I could do this. Removing all of that. It's not about what has happened before. What this time is about is for us to be with ourselves, to learn more about ourselves, to connect more with ourselves here. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and bring this down. Now that we've kind of stretched out the quads a little bit, I want to go ahead and begin working with stretching the hamstrings and the glutes. So this is another place where the chair is going to come in. So here we're going to go ahead and sit down into our chair. All right, some hangers here. I'm going to set these aside. What we're going to do is we're going to bring one foot and place it on the knee. Some people sit like this regularly, all right? Now we want to be comfortable. So for those of us who are a little vertically challenged, we want to make sure that we're kind of seated more towards the end of the seat so that our foot is comfortable on the floor. So with this, some of us may have some things going on with the knee, and if that is the case, go ahead and break your practice. We can find something else to work with. But this is going to require some flexibility into the knee. So from here, what we're going to do is we are going to go ahead, we're going to inhale and begin lifting ourselves up from the base of the spine all the way to the crown of the head, sitting nice and tall. On the exhale, so we're going to take a nice inhale first, inhaling, we're going to exhale, we're going to go ahead and start bending from the hips. So what that means is that we're not going to be diving in from the shoulder blades, okay? We're going to sit up nice and tall and bend right from the hip. We should begin to feel the stretch through the glutes. Breathing evenly here. And 1. Let's go ahead and sit up straight. Taking that foot down. We're going to do this with the opposite side. Bringing this leg up. Making sure that our foot is firmly planted down into the ground. We're going to inhale, lifting up through the spine. Nice and tall, shoulders back and down. Exhaling, bending. Two and 1. I'm gonna stay here just one more breath, please. And then we're gonna go ahead and come back up here. All right, so that is a very nice glute piriformis stretch that we can do from a nice seated position. Now, from here, we are going to finish out on the floor to do a nice hamstring stretch. For those of us that don't want to get onto the floor, you can just go ahead, stand up from the chair. All right, we're going to inhale the arms up. We're just going to go for a forward fold. All right, so bending down, stretching out through the hamstrings, through the back of the leg. All right, for those of us that don't want to do this standing, which most of us would need some form of modification, so blocks. Okay, we would use these blocks here if we were going to do it from a standing position, or we could just utilize the chair that's here, right? Getting that nice stretch. We don't want to be leaning too far back. We don't want to be leaning too far forward. We want the hips to be aligned with the heels here as we go through this stretch. Making sure that we're inhaling and exhaling deeply. So if this is the modification you would like to do, please feel free to stay here. For those of us who may want to go ahead and get down onto the floor, we can come back down to the mat here. Adjust these. Hello, socks. All right. Now, we were working with this staff pose earlier, remembering to inhale, having that nice tall back, exhaling, using the muscles of the spine and of the back and of the core to go ahead and push back against gravity. We're going to exhale, coming down here. Now, you can see that I'm not really going too far. That's because I don't want my back to begin to get this curve here. That's not going to be healthy for the lumbar part, or even for the part that is the thoracic part of the spine. We want to keep that chest nice and lifted, exhaling, bending here. If we wanted to use our towel, which we can, we would wrap the towel across the bottoms of the feet and begin to pull this way. Okay, holding on, making sure that our shoulders are not gripping up here, back and down. Bringing the toes back towards the body. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Coming out of this. Okay. Grabbing onto this again. Inhaling very deeply. Exhaling. Coming forward here. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Coming on up here. You know, we can kind of roll our ankles a little bit, wiggle our toes just to deepen that mind-body connection, right? Because it is through the brain and through all of the nerves that are going to be communicating how to move the body. And that is our practice today. Now, what I would like for everybody to keep in mind is that all of these things can be done for whatever period of time, especially when we begin working with the standing postures where we're lifting our legs up. Whenever I first began yoga, I was not able to lift my leg up as high as I am now. And that has been such a gift to receive, is to watch how, as long as I show up every day with these more beginner and basic movements, it really does increase my overall strength. It really does impress myself. I mean, it really increases my self-confidence. And it's so simple. It's not something that is an extreme or challenging posture. So I really encourage for you to practice these movements to really begin to build up that heat, that burning sensation. And then once we start to build up that heat into the body, to go ahead and take it through a gentle stretch. It does not have to be anything that is very intense or serious. And again, I think that also just depends on our intention, right? Like sometimes my intention is to get a workout in my yoga and to really begin to create a lot of heat, so that way I can start breathing heavier and start sweating more, just getting that energy out of my body. Other times that's not necessary for me. So remembering always utilizing the breath, allowing the breath to flow in and out of the body. And just being kind and gentle with ourselves. Any movement that you do, even if it's within the home, that is intentional, that you are thinking, I'm moving my body intentionally here, is going to increase that mind-body connection and to kind of prevent us from picking up habits that aren't healthy, like picking up daily habits that aren't with maximum benefits, right? And yeah, I think that's all I have to say. I love you all so much. Like, there's so much love for you here in this space, in this universe. And I'm wishing you all peace, happiness, health, wealth, and wisdom, and peace. And yeah, if anybody has any questions, please feel free to reach out. I will do my research and try to figure out what I think will work best for you. So I bring my hands together into prayer position at my heart center. And I say namaste to all of you. The divine that resides inside of me recognizes the divine that resides inside of each and every one of you. And I'm so grateful for you. And I'm so grateful for me. And namaste.